Greetings, Gamecock fans. Moments ago, four-star offensive tackle Zyon Giles from Carvers Bay High School down in Georgetown County, South Carolina, committed to the Gamecocks. Also had offers and interest from Clemson, Georgia, Auburn, you name it. 6'5", 280-pounder, pure offensive tackle, another blue chip offensive line recruit for offensive line coach Lonnie Teasley, Sam Searby, all that group that has recruited excellent offensive line prospects to the South Carolina Gamecocks in recent cycles. When you look at Giles, the first thing that stands out about him is just his raw potential and athleticism. On film, he's a man among boys in a lot of the games that he plays there at Carvers Bay. He obviously has a ton of athletic upside. As far as like the possibilities long term, he's going to have to develop, obviously, and that's common among most offensive linemen when you're talking about moving from the high school level to the college level. I mean, every single one of them has to develop. Even Josiah Thompson, who started a bunch of games for the Gamecocks, 11 or 12 of the 13 games for Carolina this past season, five-star player out of Dillon, South Carolina, as a true freshman last year. But Giles, you look, the first thing that you look for outside of just the raw athleticism is the length. He's got long arms. He's got what you call a very violent punch. On defensive line, we always talk about violent hands. I'm going to coin a new phrase here and say offensive line, violent punch. That means kind of the quickness that you can extend your arms and get on blocks. Really like what I see there. I also look for footwork. Can these guys move their feet? So many times you'll watch an offensive lineman that, don't think has a chance. And they kind of got cement shoes a little bit, plodding. They're big. They look the part getting off the bus, but they plod around. That's not Giles. He's a guy that you look at, very light feet for a 6'5", 280-pounder. And that means something, because one of the things he has to work on when he gets to college will be pass pro sets, dropping the drops with his feet. That's all footwork. And so there's that raw ability there with the light feet that makes him a guy that could potentially play left tackle. Some guys you look at and they're a right tackle at best, probably a guard. That's not him. He could be a left tackle. Not saying he will be, but he could be a left tackle. There's so much of a delta with him as far as, how far he has to go to develop. Like I said, it's not abnormal. That maybe he goes to the right side, maybe he goes to the left side, maybe he plays both. Who knows? But he's got the potential to be a tackle, and I can't rule out left tackle right now for him. I like his aggressiveness. I think a lot of times when you look again at big players on the high school level, I've seen many of them through my career. They're big, but they look like Tarzan and play like Jane. They're kind of powder puffing around. Don't like to kind of knock the crap out of people. They don't have that dog mentality. And sometimes those guys end up getting to college and they develop that. I mean, that's not something that's a deal breaker, but not him. I mean, you look at him on film, he's looking for someone to hit many times, when he gets to second level, when he pulls. I saw one where he kind of did, he kind of moved diagonally, found a defensive back, and boom, just knocked him off his feet. Smaller kid, obviously. The kid was overmatched. But, you look at that, and I'm not saying that was some great feat of strength. I'm just saying that shows you that he has that mentality to go knock the poo out of somebody. And that's what you want on the offensive line, because guess what? In the SEC, and playing teams in the future like Clemson and Miami's on the schedule, and who knows if they put a Big Ten team on the schedule, you need a guy that has that mentality if you're going to be good up front. And he has that, and I really appreciate that about his game. Big athletic kid. I think that once he gets in a strength program, he'll fill out, probably around 310, maybe even 320. is a player that visited South Carolina quite a bit. Also visited Clemson last weekend. The Tigers were a factor. I will tell you that right now. It wasn't a slam dunk layup. No chance for anybody else. But the Gamecocks won this battle at the end, at least for now. You don't sign until December, and you never say never. But South Carolina got a lead and then, extended it. And ultimately, he committed to the Gamecocks today. He's the first player from Carvers Bay, I believe, to sign with Carolina or to commit to Carolina, assuming he signs, since Clifton Gathers. And with Clifton Gathers, remember, though, Clifton signed with Georgia out of high school and then went to prep school. And Brad Lawing flipped him and Lottie Azaboy, who signed with Virginia Tech out of high school, to come to Carolina. I think they were at Fork Union Prep. Prep schools used to be a thing for recruiting. A lot of guys would spend 1 year there and then come back, bounce back. That really doesn't happen anymore. It's either JUCO or transfer portal when it comes to postgraduate football. I believe they still have prep schools out there, but you don't hear much about the recruiting. But that was the story with Gathers. And then, of course, the Gamecocks did not get Robert Gathers Jr. Or Kwame Gathers or Clayton Gathers because they didn't recruit him, which they probably should have because he was a safety and probably went to UCF, went to the NFL, probably could have helped that 2014 team, right? But always good to get players out of Carvers Bay. I love this part of the state as far as producing athletes. Of course, Darius Rush is from Hemingway, or Greeleyville, C.E. Murray High School, which is kind of down in that area, Georgetown County-ish area, the heart of the PD. They don't always have players, but when they do, I think they have a low bust rate because of the athleticism that they have. And this is kind of a secret sauce for South Carolina, going into these small towns east of Columbia, especially, and landing players, that are kind of off the beaten path as far as location. Giles obviously is a top 200 prospect nationally per 24/7 Sports Composite, offers from everywhere. So the secret was out. I didn't mention Georgia in the list, and Georgia had offered, and he had his official visit scheduled. They're still on the books as of now. I know South Carolina is the weekend of June 6th, but we'll see if he takes him. Anna Adams from 24/7 Sports reported the other day, maybe he takes him, maybe he doesn't. But Georgia's another team that found him. Obviously, Georgia's connections to Carvers Bay with their success getting the Gathers over the years probably played a factor there. And them knowing about Carvers Bay as a place to recruit. But certainly a big pickup for Lonnie Teasley and the Gamecocks. He continues to be a machine on the recruiting trail and to stack blue chip offensive linemen. 2026 is a fantastic cycle in state on offensive line. This has been going on for a couple of years now. Even last year with Surratt from Gaffney, Shedrick Surratt Jr., who looks probably a little more impressive than maybe people thought when he committed. At 6'4", 336, can stand flat-footed and dunk a basketball. Yeah, that's a big-time athlete. And this is another piece to what could be a very good offensive line class from primarily within the state. Desmond Green from Timberland is a massive man who's still out there. You have Trey Aiken from Clinton, and then you also have the commitment already. Giles will be the second offensive line commitment, Anthony Baxter from South Point, who I really like on film as well. Out of state, you got Darius Gray, five-star offensive lineman, interior projection from St. Christopher's in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. He had a visit this week that was fantastic. And so the Gamecocks are kind of in the driver's seat for that out-of-state player, and also a big tackle from North Carolina, three-star guy J.B. Shabazz is supposed to officially visit South Carolina when the official visits start up here the end of May. So that will be good there. So Giles is a raw player, have to develop. But the bend, I didn't mention that. He can bend. You got to be able to bend on the offensive line to get in your stance and fire off the ball. That's pretty obvious. That checks out. Just a big upside player. If you go watch his film, probably right now you're going to come to the same conclusions I do. He's raw, but you can see the potential there. And keep in mind with offensive line, it's as developmental as there is. Even with your blue chippers, you're hopeful by year three, they're getting to go. Some guys it takes to year four. Heck, some guys it takes to year five. It's just how it is. And keep in mind, too, offensive line recruits are at a premium. Urban Meyer said it the other day on his podcast. Everybody in college football is looking for offensive linemen. So the Gamecocks are blessed. This all doesn't, I guess it all doesn't guarantee anything because of the development part of it. It doesn't mean the Gamecocks are going to all of a sudden be the top offensive line in the SEC in the coming years. But what it does say is you've got the potential to do it because South Carolina, the bottom line here, South Carolina is recruiting as well as anyone in the conference at this very critical position at this moment. All right, just wanted to pop in and give you the take there on Zyon, a commitment. The Gamecocks, I believe, without looking at it, went to 19th in the country and from 25th in the 24/7 Sports composite team recruiting rankings for class of 2026. It's their sixth commit. They are far from done, folks. It's going to be a very interesting recruiting period from the standpoint of the players Carolina's in on, but also if the track record that this staff under Shane Beamer has is any indication, it's going to be a very fruitful one as well. I'll be back Monday with coffee. Don't forget Inside the Gamecocks, the show, the super stream and all that today. Will come on later today. I'm going to go on the morning show after maybe you get this or listen to this, but wanted to pop in and say, there you go. Another big time commit for Lonnie Teasley on the offensive line and the South Carolina Gamecocks. These in-state guys, I've said it before, very, very critical for the 2026 recruiting efforts. All right, JC Shurburtt signing off. I'll holla at you soon.